So yes, he's back, the man, the myth, the legend, Novritsch, with another product. And this is the SSP5, one that I don't think many people saw coming. And I'm gonna give you a full review, tip to toe, externals, internals, and all the accessories. And actually, I've had more than a few weeks with this. I got an early version of this and had a chance to really give it a good once over before giving you a review versus just a first impression. So sit back, grab a drink, grab some sodas, grab some popcorn. We're gonna dive into what makes the SSP5 a primary pistol. That's right, primary pistol. So the marketing goes from Novritsch. This is going to be your main gun, and I'm gonna tell you the price point definitely dictates that. We'll talk about pricing toward the end. Stay to the end because I'm actually gonna give you the full rundown of what this config right here in my hand, well, plus the holster accessory, runs, and then what else you can do to it. It keeps going. So the SSP5 is designed to be a, as he says, a primary pistol. This is gonna be the one you grab, you take out on the field, the airsoft, and you use it as your main. Or, I mean, don't get me wrong, you can still use it as a sidearm, and that's kind of where mine's gonna be. This is gonna really, I feel like, either be your main when you're playing CQB or a really good backup option when you are running like a DMR, let's say, a support, like a SAW, some kind of machine gun, or a sniper rifle. Even you medics out there might be pretty good with this because it can really hold its own. We're gonna talk about externals first. I'm gonna talk about the base product and then all the accessories I've added on. We're gonna dive into internals performance, and then we're gonna, like I said, get to that part. So externally, I have to admit, right out of the gate, there really is a noticeable level of quality on this product. And I think it's not surprising. Most of the Novritsch stuff out there is pretty high end. It's very well done. And because of that premium price tag, you're going to get a premium product. The finish is awesome. Just looking at the build quality of this, it's like metal all around. Up top, the bottom frame is polymer. So like kind of like on most HiCapa platforms, and that's what this is, the HiCapa platform. This lower part of the frame here is your polymer portion, and pretty much everything else you see on this thing is metal. I've added some accessories and I will point those out to this. I'll also be showing the base product before I started tricking it out. So this is the tricked out version. So what you get is this extra long pistol, 26 centimeters long, tip to toe. So it is extra long, and it's also extra heavy. As spec'd out with everything you see here, that's way over 2 pounds, like 2.5 pounds, give or take. So it is heavy. That's with the mag in, with the BBs, with everything you're gonna get, and like I said, all the accessories. And you're probably gonna wanna trick it out like this. I don't think you're gonna really wanna leave it base because that's kind of what this platform's all about. Finish is awesome. It's anodized metal, it's anodized aluminum. They've sandblasted it prior, so you get this like cool satin look. It's just, everything fits good right up here. That's literally just the tiniest little sound, and that's just coming from, like, I think it's just the internal, one of the internal parts. It's like no wobble, none, like no major rattle on this thing. It is really tight. The tolerances are good. I mean, everything just sounds, looks good, feels good. Build quality externally looks great. I've added a threaded adapter here, so you can actually take this thread adapter off if you want. It comes stock, and I'll give you a list of all this stuff. I would probably say you want to. If you're gonna run this as like a CQB pistol, you're gonna probably wanna put a tracer unit on, which is kind of what I would do through like an Ace Tech, or I know Novritsch sells his own. On here, it gives you 14 counterclockwise threads that we can use it. Like I said, it's got the Novritsch fluted barrel on the inside, so it's got the spiraling you can kind of see through there. Moving on down the slide, this is where it's really interesting, and you might have saw it when I pulled it back, that this part of your slide is all fixed. Doesn't move. The frame, it's all locked in here. It's all one solid piece. The only part of the slide that moves is what you see back right here. Let me get away, let's focus it. So this little part right here, this. He claims it's the lightest weight slide in the industry. I mean, it's pretty lightweight because there's not a lot of slung mass. It means really crisp shots, and it does deliver on that. We'll show it and talk about it when we get to shooting, but what it gives you is the ability to mount a red dot that doesn't reciprocate, doesn't move with the slide, so it stays fixed. So as you fire, that red dot stays put. He has a mounting plate he sells. He offers his red dot, which fits on here absolutely perfectly. I do like his. Normally I'm not like, hey, you should buy the manufacturer's red dot, because I mean, this thing's pricey. It definitely is. It's up there, but it's a really low profile red dot, meaning the actual dot sits barely above the fiber optic front and rear sights. So when you're looking down those fiber sights, the red dot is literally just sitting barely on top of that front sight post. So it gives you almost a near co-witness. It's kind of in that perfect location. Like I said, normally I'd be like, throw your own red dot on here. It's good to go. It's no big deal. But the way he's put his, I think it might be worth you picking one up. Also, it adjusts really well. I was able to sight it in really nice. Some of these, the cheaper ones you get, they don't sight in well. This one's definitely nicer, has a power up and a power down. But again, that is an extra accessory that is quite premium. Moving on back, there you go. You'll see that top screw point right there, not the Allen, not that hex key, but that one there. That is your hop up adjustment. It is a top down center hop up. And that's what's really interesting about this pistol. TDC, so you make that adjustment with an Allen key and you can adjust your hop up, no problem. And you can do it in sets. So if you guys don't know, a lot of times a hop up is like a C shape in there. So when you would make the adjustment, like you take the slide off, you move the wheel, right? It starts to pull that C down. And sometimes that metal will bend. So instead of it being this perfect kind of like, think of it like a sharp letter C, it starts to be bent up. What'll happen is it'll put uneven pressure on the top of the BB. So your BBs, instead of getting equal, just perfect downforce, will get a little off to one side and you'll get this weird side spin and you'll have inaccuracies. The top down center gives you basically really solid accuracy over time. And that's where this pistol shines. It's designed to hop BBs 0.40 grams or better. And I do use those in my test against targeting at a decent range. And if you guys have watched some of the other YouTube videos, you can definitely reach out and smack somebody. I'll talk about power. This thing has enough power also to power those 0.40 gram BBs, because a lot of pistols don't deliver enough punch, enough juice behind it, enough kick, enough gas to make it efficient to use those. This one actually does. Plus it's combined with his purple hop up, which, no, maybe you can see it. Yeah, there we go. Right there. Inside there, you can see his nice little purple hop up that he's known for, his special purple internal goodness, his extra hard rubber. Moving on back, hammer is nice and crisp. I mean, the trigger is crisp. It does have the slide release on one side, not both, but it does have an ambidextrous safety. It's on both sides, so lefties rejoice. You're good if you're a lefty or a righty. No problem there. Like I said, polymer grip, nice, big, fat, good kind of texture to it. It's got like this, it's kind of like a little grid pattern, I guess, if you want to call it. And I wouldn't say waffle, it's grid with some textures around it. Feels nice, got some serration on the front of the trigger guard here. Adjustable trigger on there so you can set the length of pull if you want to do that. Nice big fat dovetail and really stiff spring in here. It doesn't feel wobbly. You're not going to accidentally engage this, but it's not so stiff that you feel like you got to give it a death grip to make the grip safety work. Rounding out, you do have a rail at the bottom so you can put lights, lasers, cool accessories on here. And what's neat is he has an alternate accessory. You might have seen this on the side. You're just like, well, Jonathan, what's this big lump here off on the side? This is your holster adapter for the Novritsch holster. There are 5 screw holes tapped in the bottom of the frame. In fact, the early one, you might see some of the photos. You don't see those. I got an early sample that didn't have these in there, so I was able to test and run it, and I swapped that out when the final version came out, and I was able to attach the attachment here, and this gives you this like, kind of this little side lump. It's not that bad. It also kind of, for me, acts as like a gas pedal, you know? You can kind of put your thumb, I don't know if you can focus on it there, like the thumb can rest on it. It's kind of in the right spot. I kind of like it, but it gives you a chance to attach into this little interesting holster. It's a 2-piece kit. You get the outside one and the bottom one separately. Again, I'll link all the prices and everything so you know at the end. And basically there's a little groove here you can kind of see, and there's a little notch, and that basically there's like, you just kind of put them together and it just lives in that little notch, right? And that's it. And you got a little thumb button here and you can just drive it on up and out. It's really convenient. It's a MOLLE attachment. It should mount to most of your plates. So if you want to run on an existing holster system, it should fit up just fine. It looked like a standard attachment to me, or very little modding. Like I said, this extra accessory, you buy it, comes with the 5 screws, you can mount it in there. Right now it just works with the SSP5, but I'm sure this is going to expand out to other platforms. So that kind of rounds the externals out. Like I said, my additions are the red dot, and it does have just a normal flat plate there that's screwed in place. You have to buy a plate and a red dot, a mounting plate, and then the red dot. They're 2 separate pieces. The mounting plate's pretty affordable. Red dot's on the higher end because it is kind of premium. I added the threaded barrel adapter so I could put a tracer unit on because, hey, this thing's already long. Might as well just go ahead and take advantage of it. Especially I want to maybe see those BBs in the air. Pro tip or thing, hey, BB companies make heavier weight BBs. There's like glow in the dark BBs. It's really worth it now. And I added the flared magwell. This is an extra accessory you put on here. Super easy to install. It's just one pin. You kind of push it out with tap it out with a little hammer, and you put the thing on, and you just put the new pin in, and you're good to go. Just makes reloads just a little easier, a little more of a little bigger target to hit than what's in there already. And of course it works with his magazine as well. Now let's talk internals and specs. And since we were talking magazine last, let's continue on with this. Magazine is going to get you 31 rounds. It's a 31 round total capacity. So I think that's a 30 plus 1, so 30 in here plus 1. It does have a split follower toward the bottom, so as you pull the follower down, it's wide enough for you to side load and feed the BBs in. Up top, it's got the gas valve, the valve here, the actual gasket that mates up to the cylinder inside the pistol. Again, it's Novritsch purple on that. But good news is, since this is a HiCapa platform, this thing does fit and feed and work with HiCapa mags. I was actually in my tests using in one series of accuracy tests, I used a Marui mag, Tokyo Marui HiCapa mag in there. It shot just fine, no problem at all. So if you already have HiCapa mags, you are good to go. If you don't want to invest in his, which they're decently fairly priced and they're pretty darn good quality too, then you can also pick up any of them anywhere and you should be just fine. Like I said, it's pretty universal standard because this is based on the HiCapa system. It also means that you HPA guys out there, you can go wild, right? Tap this sucker, go crazy. If you want to pick up Novrich's drum mag, he's got one. I think it's the WE one is what he carries. It's under his house brand, but you can also use the AW custom one, those big fat, like 300 rounders that just right in there. You can HPA tap that sucker if you got the HPA tapped, extended mags, anything like that. If you want to put the adapter on and run the M4s in here, you can do that too. So there's a lot of versatility because this is on a HiCapa platform and you're pretty much good to go when it comes to that. So more on the internals. It does have, like I said, I talked about that TDC hop-up adjustment. It has a 601 inner barrel. It's very tight, 601 Type 4 inner barrel in here and a one-piece hop-up chamber. So you're looking at all the right components for really good accuracy. And I did see that in the test, which we'll show in a second. Really fast recoil because there's not a lot of moving mass. I mean, it's just that little piece right there, right? That's it. It's really light. I'm sorry, RIP headphone users. It's very efficient on gas. I was able to get pretty much 1.5 to 2 mags depending on outside temperature during my tests. It is a very warm day out here. My days 36°C, so we're approaching 100 degrees Fahrenheit for those of you who live in the States. So it is tested in very warm conditions for the chrono. Everything here is pretty much CNC'd except for obviously the polymer, tons of it, and steel trigger assembly. So any of the pieces inside for the trigger system that need to be, they're all made of steel. And you can look inside and you can pretty much tell it. So that is it inside and out. Now, speaking of out, let's just go out and test it. So since this is a primary pistol, we threw some 0.40 gram BBs in here, and we had some Novritsch .36s sitting around as well. So I used some of those in some of the tests. We alternated between them, saw pretty much at normal CQB engagement distances, no measurable differences in distance there. He does recommend 0.32 for CQB and for outdoor 0.40s. When we went to go chrono this, we started with the 0.2 because we wanted to give a good solid baseline. I think since the 0.20 gram BB is what the universal chrono standard is across the board for most fields, and we saw some pretty solid numbers. In fact, first shot on this, of course, first shot on green gas mags are gonna always be high. It's around 388, that's just about 1.4 joules. And he advertises between 1 and 1.5 joules, so that's right in his range on green gas. Like I said, using the 0.20, you'll probably see less of a joule drop when you start using the heavier BBs. Of course, we used very light just for the chrono test. Running through the chronos, you can see it dropped down to a hair under, when I started rapid firing toward the end and getting a little cooldown, a hair under 1 joule. But that's just some rapid fire shots. Once this thing warms back up, again, very, very, very hot day, so cooldown's gonna be a little more extreme. I think if you're dealing with an environment of more temperate, not, 90 something degrees or 36 degrees centigrade outside, you're gonna end up with numbers that are probably around that 360 mark, where we saw the middle of our test, where most of the shots, they floated between 350 and 360 feet per second out there. We'll just say it's gonna be your number. Be mindful if your field does have a 350 limit, this may or may not be okay. Typically, a lot of fields do bypass green gas pistols. Of note, you can get CO2 mags for this thing. I do not have one because on his website very clearly states, don't use CO2 unless it's below 15 degrees C outside. Basically, unless it's cold, don't put the sucker in there. I guarantee you're gonna be close to 2 joules if you're gonna run CO2. I wouldn't do it outdoors. I just think it's gonna put a lot of wear and tear on this. Plus, with not a lot of sprung weight, not a lot of weight going back on the slide, you might be putting a lot of stress on some of the internal components. I wouldn't recommend it. Positive note is, he does sell all the parts. So if you do blow up your slide, you can buy another one. That's not a problem. And he does have tech support and a really good warranty, although he's not gonna warranty something he told you not to do, which makes sense. So yeah, I think another big thing about this is moving back away from the chrono test, and you can see chrono and accuracy here. Accuracy's, real quick, right on point. What I was seeing, I mean, I wasn't like trying to do like perfect, 3-gun shooting target practice here, but short of one flyer, which is my fault on the third shot, which was using the Marui mag, third magazine, all the other 2 Novritsch magazines, so I was given 2 Novritsch mags and I just grabbed a Marui mag for the third. These things are right on, like they're accurate enough on these targets. You're gonna hit what you're aiming at, and especially even at distance, like really big distance. If you watch what some of these videos out there are doing, this thing can reach out and really touch somebody. So definitely does as advertised to be your primary pistol. Like I said, downside is this thing is so heavy for a pistol. It's 1.15 kilos. To give you an idea, a Marui HiCapa, 5.1 HiCapa, fully loaded, ready to go, out of the box is like 0.8 kilos, 0.85 actually. The 4.3 is even shorter and a little less. It's like under 800 grams. So you're looking at 850 grams. This is like 1,150 grams. It's 50% heavier almost than a Marui 5.1 HiCapa out of the box. So just be mindful, that's it. And that's again, with all these accessories on. You can lighten it up if you don't wanna add like the side piece to mount, for the holster mount, the red dot, and the flared mag well and all that. Take all those things off. You're gonna start getting this thing closer to that 1 kilo mark. So overall thoughts, it's crisp. It's so crisp. Follow-up shots are so easy. The red dot, normally I don't like red dots on my pistols for 2 reasons. One, it cycles with the slide and it takes a while to reacquire your target. Me to find that red dot, it's just personal preference. And then 2, there's a lot of recoil. I mean, even in airsoft, it's got enough of a kick and it takes me a second to reacquire, and I sometimes will just snap shoot. But with this, you have neither, because there's really no recoil. It's just so little mass moving. I mean, you can feel it, but it doesn't really take you off target. It doesn't move the red dot enough, it moves it just a little bit, and it's super easy to control. And since it's not cycling with the slide, this is like the first pistol, to be honest, I've got that I think putting a red dot on makes a lot of sense. And that's why I'm kind of slightly pumping up the red dot here, because it makes sense as an accessory. So anyway, if you are in the market for out of the box, arguably, and I've said this before and I hate to sound like I'm just shilling for Novritsch, because by the way, he did send me this. I am not being paid. He hasn't seen this video. He didn't have any say in this video. I'm not compensated. I don't get paid on any clicks for anything on this. This is purely, full disclosure, my opinion. Like, I got this pistol, that was it. He sent it to me, and to be honest, I mean, I've been doing this for a while. I don't need any more airsoft guns in my collection. I've got 100 plus. This really does kind of remind me of what the SSP or SSG series did, his sniper rifles. It just gives you something that works out of the box. You don't have to buy all the extra stuff, tune up your HiCapa, do all these things. You get it, it reaches out, it touches somebody. I mean, if you want to HPA tap it, you can of course do that, but it really is as advertised. But here is the downside, and I'm going to take my notes, my cheat sheet that I always hang, by the way, I hang like cheat notes so I don't mess up all my stuff. I'm going to read you the prices. So, bottom line pistol, right now at time of release, and these are always subject to change. I'm gonna read it in euros because exchange rates are weird right now. The base pistol without all the accessories, 289 euros. And as you see here, this version here, I added a red dot plate, the red dot, holster adapter, holster, and the holster mount. There's 3 pieces to the holster. The mount, and this is 2, the plate and the actual, so that and that are 2 different ones. On this too, I have a thread adapter on the end here, and I have the extended flared mag well. Now, to give you an idea, the red dot's 129 euros. All these numbers and prices could change. I'll have links down below if you want to check it out. So grand total, what you see here, $499.80. It's in euro, but it translates to $496 US. I mean, euro to USD is almost 1-to-1. It's like a few pennies off now. So it's around 500 US dollars, like a hair under. By the time you add the second magazine that I got, and there's a charging handle, which you can add on, but it deletes the rear sight. That's why I didn't want to. I like having the dual sights, the fiber optic sights, which are really great. The double one, the single one, really love them. They're super bright, super crisp. With the red dot, I want both, so I'm not gonna put that charging handle on. It's only like 15 euro for that one. If you wanna throw all those other accessories on, you're looking at 543 euro and 540 USD. So absolutely, when it comes to price, and on his website, he even says, like, this is not cheap for a reason. This definitely comes to full primary price. I mean, that's premium AEG price, that is GBBR price, that's licensed AEG or GBBR pricing. So just keep in mind that it is very pricey. If you want it, it is good. I'm telling you, the hype is absolutely real. I'm not gonna say, but if you want it, you gotta pay for it. I mean, that is if you wanted me to throw the negative out, and then like I said, it's a little bit on the heavy side, but if this is gonna be your primary, or let's say you're not gonna run like an SMG as a sidearm to go with your sniper rifle, the weight doesn't matter, because the SMG, everything's gonna weigh more than a kilo you're gonna have to run. So that's it. That's my full exhaustive review. Thank you if you made it to the end. Just let me know you made it to the end. Let me know your thoughts on this. I mean, I know it's gonna be a lot of, oh man, it's so expensive. Oh, I could buy a real gun for that. I can hear all the comments, right? But I'm interested in constructive criticism and positive feedback and constructive feedback down in there in the comment section. I'll be joining you, checking it out. Let me know what you guys and gals think of this. Are you gonna pick one up? I mean, I'll be honest, I'm probably gonna see a lot of these start showing up on the field. I'm excited to get out shortly when it's not 1,000,000 degrees out. I'm gonna die of heat stroke going out on the field to play with this and get some real good gameplay in. I feel like it's going to be nice with the tracer unit. I'm gonna try to track down at least some 0.28 gram tracer BBs so I can at least use something heavy and see how this thing goes. I think it's gonna be as advertised. Maybe get an extended mag or one of those drum mags for it and make it a real primary. Anyway, let me know in the comments. I'll be down there joining you in the discussion. And don't forget, if you guys haven't liked, comment, subbed, all that stuff, remember, hit the like button. It really freaking does help. I'm telling you, YouTube loves to like bury these videos, so liking it gets it up, the algorithm, you know, the algorithm garbage. It just helps. I appreciate it. So anyway, until next video, go out, play some airsoft, have some fun, but no matter what you do, call your freaking hits.